Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Ashlee and I'm a homeschooling mom of 4 kids and I have been homeschooling for quite a few years now. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 ways that I think really help and foster creativity in our kids. One of the main reasons why I wanted to homeschool my children after my oldest 2 had entered into public school was because I felt like their creativity and their God-given gifts and abilities were being stifled by the schooling environment. And so bringing them home and homeschooling them, I have seen their creativity and their passions flourish. And so today I'm going to be giving you the tips that I have based on my experience as a mom in hopes that you guys might be encouraged, or if you've got littles and you're kind of a little bit behind me, then maybe some of these things might help you. Before I get into today's video though, I do need to thank today's video sponsor. It is Artis. You guys, if you have been around my channel for a while, know that I have worked with Artis in the past many times. They are an amazing resource for professional and high quality art tools and mediums, pens, you know, paints, all different kinds of things. But the difference is that they're professional grade and quality. So when your children use them for whatever art or project that they're intending to create, they're going to be using professional grade tools, and there is a difference. There is a difference. In the past, I did an art cart video where I showed you guys how I filled up our art cart, which is a part of today's video as well, with all of our Artis supplies. And then I also did I got some Artis art supplies for our back to homeschool supply haul. So thank you so much, Artis, for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to show you guys what I just recently got from them and then share my 10 tips to help you guys foster creativity in your kids. So we just got some new Artis supplies. We are at the end of our homeschool year, and so our supplies, we use them often. They were looking a little low, and then also I just wanted some new fun things to help my kids through this current time where I am filming this. If you come upon this video later, this may not be applicable, but currently we are all staying home, and so creating and fostering creativity when you are limited on places you can go and things like that, having art supplies on hand that are shipped to you can really be a game changer. So I want to show you guys what I got. The first thing that I got is this large 3000 fuse beads. It comes with 5 pegboards, 5 sheets of the ironing paper, 2 pairs of tweezers, and 30,000 beads. So there is a ton in here. Another thing that I just love about Artis is that it is an American company. So I love supporting them. So it's got like the plastic and then all of these, and there are limitless ideas that your kids can create with beads like these. If they're old enough, obviously. My kids love making all different kinds of Disney characters and designs, and they've even made up board games using those beads with like the things that move. So having extra beads like that will be awesome. The next thing that I have here to show you guys, my kids already got into, but this is a 24 pack of premium gel pens. These are so awesome. I personally love a good pen, and I probably will steal some out of here. But they glide so smoothly. They're nice and thick. There's tons of colors, and we got the 24 pack. I will have all of these things linked down in the description box for you guys. So if you see something in this video that you or your children would just love to have, then it'll be linked down below for you guys. The next thing I have to show you, I actually need to open. It is a 72 sheet coloring book of different like pages. So here's what it looks like. It has a 2-pack in it. So they're like the more intricate designs. So I think older kids, maybe some younger kids like these, but I enjoy doing these myself with my daughters. So you can see like the pages, they're pretty complex. So these take up a good chunk of time. It's something that you can come back to again and again and not finish all in one day. So that came with 2 of these. So we have lots of options there. The next thing that I got, which I feel like I'm always needing, is a watercoloring palette. This one is specifically for kids. And so it has the paintbrush here that you fill with water, and then it has the 36 watercolor premium pan. I get asked a lot what kind of watercolors I use. I have only been using Artis for the past year, and I will never go back to what we were using before because there's a substantial difference. So we got that. The next thing here are watercolor pencils. This is a favorite of my kids, and the reason why is because having the pencil allows them to have a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more precise design, and then they just blend it out to their liking. I'm trying to open it for you guys so I can show you. They blend it out to their liking. The shade ranges on these are awesome. Like, those are all the different shades. So if you've got a little bit of older kids, it looks like a color pencil, and then they're able to blend it out. My kids love these, love these, love these, and we were really low on these because we've used them so much. So I'm super happy to have another set. And the last thing that I got is a pack of acrylic colors. Again, look at the amazing shade range, and these acrylic paints will be used for so many projects that my daughter especially loves. She loves to paint squishies. If any of you moms are familiar with that, then you know what I'm talking about. Here's what, there's tons of colors. It just keeps going and going and going. And then also I saw a really fun idea for painting your sliding glass door. So my daughter will have fun doing that. And so we got some acrylic paints for projects like that. So that is everything that we got from Artis. So thank you so much to Artis. Make sure you guys check out with the links down in the description box if you are interested in getting some new art supplies. They're shipping right now, depending on where you live. You know, there's no guarantee. Everything is kind of slowed down, but I will say that I did receive them a lot quicker than I thought I was going to. So super excited to have some new stuff for my kiddos to keep their creative juices flowing. And now I will give you guys my 10 tips as a homeschooling mom to help foster creativity in your kids. So tip number 1, and I do have my phone down here so that I could share with you guys what I really think. The first one is to have access to supplies for creativity. So if you do not have any, you know, it can be anything, Play-Doh, clay, art supplies, paper, pencils, just anything out and accessible for your kids. I feel like it makes a difference having those things out in their plain view versus you know, stored away. I find that if I have those items out, my kids definitely gravitate towards them. They see something, they get an idea, and then they have materials to use. So if you want to encourage creativity in your household, then have some displays like Artis with supplies out for your kids. The second tip that I have for you guys is to have good quality supplies so that way whatever they're attempting to create turns out. If you've got older kids that are trying to create a beautiful watercolor painting and they only have a Crayola 5-color pan of watercolors that don't really work, they're probably going to get upset that what they're trying to do isn't turning out. And so I have found that having good quality supplies definitely helps them enjoy the creative and artistic process more. The third tip that I have for you guys is to always take time to admire what they want to show you. Now, this is something that is a challenge for me, and so I am reminding myself as a mom, but also sharing with you guys. When your kids create something and they're proud of it, whether it's a made-up board game that they drew on a cardboard box, my son did that yesterday, or whether it's a origami animal, my other son did that a couple of days ago, or whether it's decorating a new playhouse that they have in the backyard with real flowers and making a wreath. My daughter did that yesterday. Whatever it is, if they want to show you, take time to actually go and look at what they made and tell them how awesome it is. You know, if you're just always kind of like blowing them off like, oh, cool, and then getting back to the dishes, then, you know, it doesn't really encourage their creativity. So take time to actually go and look. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It can just be as simple as a few minutes, but providing them with some encouragement and feedback on whatever they've created, no matter how old they are or no matter how silly it is, I feel like really helps their confidence and makes them desire to continue to be creative. Tip number 4 is to allow some mess for the creative process. So I am not someone that hovers over my children, but I know that that can be a struggle for some people. But I am someone that likes to go to bed with the house cleaned up. So I will allow them to use whatever they need to use on their desk, whether it's cutting up all kinds of paper or downstairs at the kitchen counter. There's always paint everywhere. Whatever the case might be, I'll allow it for the day, but by bedtime, I ask them, can you please clean up your mess? So I feel like there is a happy medium between not allowing them any creative freedom and like, no, 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 don't make a mess, don't make a mess. And, you know, like allowing kids to color on the walls, that wouldn't be something that I would allow. So you do have to find your happy medium, but allowing your kids to have creative spaces and leave out their things that they can come back to, I feel like really encourages them to continue to be creative and enjoy whatever they're creating. The 5th tip that I have for you guys is to have kind of designated areas in your home for creating. If you feel like their creativity is giant and it's overpowering everywhere, then create some spaces that they know that they can use at their discretion, whether that's a desk that they have for homeschooling, or maybe you don't homeschool, maybe that's your kitchen counter, not your dining room table. You know, figure out where they're allowed to be creative, the backyard, let them know. And you'll find that after a few times, they'll just go to those areas when they want to be creative. Tip number 6 is to let them decide how they express their creativity. I think that this is a really important tip because a lot of people view creativity through the lens of art, and I even have found myself doing that with myself because I am not a gifted artist when it comes to painting and coloring and things like that. My kids are though. And so I found myself feeling like, well, I'm not creative, but I actually am creative just in different ways. And so that's true for our kids too. So maybe your kids don't love, you know, like painting, but they love building things. That is a creative process. You know, maybe they don't love doing, you know, coming up with baking recipes or whatever, but they really enjoy making slime or other things like that. Those are all creative processes. And so I feel like allowing your kids to choose how they want to express their creativity versus you trying to make them express it in a certain way really helps them stay encouraged and continue creating. The next tip that I have for you guys is to take time together to notice and appreciate other people's art or creativity, even if it's just through being in nature, which is another tip of mine. But when I see something that's really beautiful, you know, I'll point it out to the kids. Look at how awesome that is. Look, that painting is so cool. Or, you know, even if it's like the little rocks that people have been painting and writing positive messages on, if we see those, we always stop and look at them. You know, it's just training them to notice other people's creativity. It can be through driving by and looking at Christmas lights on houses. I mean, there's so many different things that people do to express their creativity, and taking time to notice those things shows that you value that, and that is important. The next tip that I have is to limit screen use. I am always advocating for that. Notice I said limit, not eliminate. In my household, we definitely do movie time, and my kids will use screens for some things throughout the day. But I find that because I have limited screen use for so long in their lives, that when they are bored, that isn't what they immediately go to, because they know that they're not allowed to use it. It's like it's like it's hard to set up those boundaries at first, but if you really want to encourage creativity in your house, I do think that having screen limits really helps that, because it's a kid's natural tendency is the instant that they're bored, if they have free access to the screen, they're always going to go to the screen. So limiting those things, I feel like really encourages them to continue to be creative. And you know, it's up to you as the parent to decide what those limitations are, but I just have seen it through my kids now that I have teenagers. That limiting screen use definitely has aided her in continuing to be creative. Number 9 is spending time in nature and outside and admiring the creativity of God. That is, I just can't emphasize enough how important that is. Looking at wildflowers, looking at the mountains, thinking about how God could have just made everything all one color, but he chose to make it multicolored. Just admiring those things, I feel like really helps your children appreciate beautiful things. They notice differences in small things, and I feel like doing that really helps, again, foster that creativity. And finally, the last tip I have for you guys to encourage your kids to be creative and express themselves through creativity is to allow boredom to happen. I am telling you guys, some of the best things my kids have ever come up with have come 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes after they have just gotten done telling me how bored they are. When we do not allow our kids to be bored ever, we are, I feel like, stepping on the creativity that can come when they're left with their mind and their thoughts and their ideas. So if you're someone who generally doesn't allow much time for boredom, I encourage you to do so. Through this interesting time that we have all been living in, we have had much more time at home with less structured activity, and I have seen tons of creativity. I mentioned just a few things at the beginning of this video that my kids were creating, but that was all within like the last 48 hours. So I have seen a ton of creativity coming out of this time, and so it's further evidence. I already knew it, but it's a great reminder that boredom produces very, very good creativity. So those are my 10 tips for fostering creativity in your kids. Let me know if you guys have any tips down below so that the comments down below this video can be a resource for other parents. Be sure to check out Artis, you guys. I cannot recommend them enough. I absolutely love the quality and the company, so I'm super grateful to be able to work with them again. So thank you, Artis. Thank you guys for spending some time with me. I hope wherever you are well and enjoying your time at home as much as we can, and I will see you guys all in my next video really soon. Bye guys.